Alrighty, cool. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream. Of course, today is on Friday instead of on Thursday, so that is certainly fun. Again, we're still at it, building the Lego T-Rex. I actually did a little bit of work on my own to try to get a little bit ahead. As you can see right here, we got some ribs going. Oh shoot! 1 second, everybody. I'll be right back. Don't do anything you shouldn't. I see. Sorry about that, folks. I return. Alrighty. Just trying to make sure that I have like a few more things set up here. He said don't do anything they shouldn't, so we should probably do something we shouldn't. We keep on repeating this one until it comes back. Nice. Yeah, so okay, everybody's joining. How's it going, everybody? Welcome. It's kind of like a rocky start to the live stream, but we are officially back again. Again, apologies for no live stream yesterday. It was a very busy day. But we are here. We are here. We're doing things. We are officially doing things. Now, I briefly mentioned before I had to go and run off real quick that I did do a little bit of work on the T-Rex, just a little bit on the ribs here, but not much. I mainly did that because I wanted to. I'm trying as hard as I can to get through this as quickly as possible, but you know, like I've mentioned several times in previous streams, this turned out to be a much bigger animal than I previously thought it would. The T-Rex is big, go figure, you know. Life happens, don't apologize for that. Oh yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's just been so busy recently. I don't know what's been going on. Feels like everything has just been hitting me at once when it comes to you know, content and other things on this channel, especially with Surviving Earth coming out and all that good stuff. There's a lot of things. There's 25 bags in it. What bag are you on? I am on bag 15. Though I'm almost done with bag 15, then we'll be on to bag 16. Like last time, we're going to do our best to try to continuously build while I speak to you guys in the chat. That's been like my biggest flaw, I suppose, is trying to multitask. And while multitasking is not really that possible for most people, we certainly got to try our best to do it. And I got to stop dropping pieces too. That is something that we cannot do. Alrighty. Yeah, 10 more bags. Yep. What's the Lego dinosaur collection looking like? Very sparse right now. Right now there's not much going on. We're just like I have gotten like Lego Jurassic Park sets in the past. Like there's one of like the T-Rex scene from Jurassic Park that I've gotten, but I need to rebuild that one. That was actually my old apartment days. Do you think a live-action Rite of Spring dinosaur documentary is a good idea? A documentary? Huh? It would be very difficult to make it into a documentary because, of course, documentaries are supposed to be educational, firstly. And if you adapt it off of the Rite of Spring, automatically it's probably not going to be educational because the Rite of Spring is like a melting pot of a lot of different time periods. A lot of animals that did not live together are coexisting together in that in that short film. So I think it'd be pretty difficult to make a documentary out of it, but making one that's, I don't know, kind of a little bit more realistic would certainly be fun. Like, I'm not opposed to that idea, especially if we kind of keep the vintage designs that they had, because that's again, that's fun. I think that would be very fun to see. I really like vintage dinosaur reconstructions. They are a good like a good time capsule for us to understand or get an idea of what animals, or what our understanding of these animals used to be like. And so if we kept it in that style, I think that would be very, very fun. Of course, that would come with the caveat of having to explain to folks that obviously that's not how dinosaurs were and our understanding has grown, but I don't know. I think it'd still be pretty fun. I think you've forgotten to do a video on the new sauropod known as Naga Titan. No, I have not forgotten. I've just been extremely busy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it because there's also just a lot more discoveries happening all the time. And a lot of other paleo-related things that I got to cover. So unfortunately, I don't know if I can get to it. We did talk about it on the podcast, the Paleopod. If you guys are not following the Paleopod, what are you doing? You should be doing that. Not really. You don't have to if you don't want to. But yeah, no, we did cover it on there. So it hasn't been completely forgotten about, obviously. It's a very huge discovery, and it's very important, of course, for a few different reasons. But I just don't know if I have the time to make a proper video for it. I'm gonna try, though. I'm gonna still try to do my best to do so. Is Stygimoloch its own genus or just a juvenile Pachycephalosaurus? It depends on who you ask. We don't have a definitive answer for that right now. Some researchers believe that it... Okay, hopefully everything's fixed now. We had a little bit of a few technical difficulties there for a minute. Now, I was talking about Stygimoloch, of course. Stygimoloch is, like I mentioned, there's like 3 possible answers for what Stygimoloch is. It could be its own genus, known as Stygimoloch spinifer, or it could be another species of Pachycephalosaurus, known as Pachycephalosaurus spinifer, or it could be a growth stage of Pachycephalosaurus, which would just make it Pachycephalosaurus wyomingensis. So those are our 3 options for Stygimoloch, and we need more data if we're to get an actual good, satisfying answer for that. There. Hopefully we don't have any more issues. I don't know what happened there. It was an OBS issue that time. Like recently, I haven't had any problems with YouTube Studio. So that time was OBS. I don't know what happened. Apologies, everybody. Let's hope that does not happen again. Okay, we're getting through this. What do I think of Ice Age Boiling Point? Oh, I don't have many thoughts right now. We don't have too much information about it. Of course, they released that teaser trailer. It looks okay, you know. I think that the Ice Age franchise has kind of like had a steady slope going downwards ever since the first movie. The first movie was actually really solid in my personal opinion. But then each film, it feels like each film is slightly worse than the last until you get to a point where it's continental drift. Okay, I'm missing a piece. I bet that my cat did that. Wasn't missing too far. That's preferable. We're making pretty good time, I think, this time. Ice Age 3 is goated, though. Yes, it is. I really like the first one. I like Meltdown, and of course, there's no way I'll dislike Ice Age 3, Dawn of the Dinosaurs. I remember seeing that one in theaters. I saw the second one in theaters, too. I didn't see the first one. But the second and third one, I saw both of those, and they were really good films, really fun films, honestly. I still don't think that they're as good as the first film. It's kind of wild how different the first film is from the later films. Hey, yeah, are you dropping my pieces? Was that you who did that? Answer me. Continental drift is when I drifted away from the Ice Age films. How are you doing about Pokesaurus? And I have to agree with you on that one. Because, like officially watching them. I saw Continental Drift in theaters. I was already older by then, so maybe that had something to do with it. But I did not like that film. I did not have a good time watching it or anything. And then I didn't watch Collision Course. It took, like, I didn't watch Collision Course until last year. That's how long it took me to finally watch that one. That's how I fell off of the Ice Age hype train. And now I'll probably watch Boiling Point, but I don't know if I'm going to cover it, if I'm being honest. I don't know if this movie's going to offer too much for me to talk about, at least that fits the style of my channel. We'll see. I might, but currently I'm not too sure. Do you think that in any situation that Parasaurolophus would theoretically be able to beat a Tyrannosaurus in a fight, and how? I am aware that a Tyrannosaurus would win on most cases. I mean, yeah, probably. Like, there's a lot of variables that go into fights, and not like there's no one answer when it comes to animal fights. So depending on the situation, I'm sure that sometimes Parasaurolophus would win. Maybe the T-Rex is sick. Maybe the T-Rex is inexperienced. Maybe there's a lot of maybes. There's a lot of things you could apply to it. Oh, somebody sent a gift. Duos 5903 sent a marshmallow high. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You're gonna knock over more Legos. I know you are. If put in the same water, who would win, a Spino or Dunkleosteus? Well, I don't know. Again, there's a lot of variables. I don't cover dinosaur fights too frequently, honestly. That's like my least thought about area when it comes to paleontology. Like, sure, it's fun every once in a while, and obviously it happened in nature. All right, well, you're just here? All right. All right, you realize you're on camera, right? I think. You can see just this lump of fur right here. Oh, geez. Opinion on Prince Creek. Oh, it's a cool formation. There's a lot of really cool animals there. A lot of the the Canada formations are really, really fascinating. Oh, you're going to knock over Lego pieces. I already guarantee it. You're working on it. But I don't want to move you is the problem. See, because I'm nice like that. That's why Smilodons aren't for houses. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. They always get in the way of your Lego building. That cat's gonna knock something over. Yeah, she's probably going to at some point, and then I'll be like, I don't know. How could this happen? No one could have foreseen it. Do I have any dogs? Yes, I do. I have 2 dogs. I have a German Shepherd Blue Heeler mix. His name is Sam. And I have a little Chihuahua. I mean, he's mostly my wife's dog, but that little guy's name is Gizmo. Okay, you're on top of Legos, so I'm so sorry, Ahsoka. But you're gonna have to hang out down there for a minute. I'm jealous. My cat only comes when I want food. Yeah, Ahsoka loves me. She hangs out in my office when I'm recording and all that all the time. She's constantly like jumping on the desk and everything. It's a good problem to have, honestly. She's a good cat. I watched a video by Ofsky talking about what T-Rex would look like in the Cenozoic, and they mentioned that over time the T-Rex family was losing teeth. What's your opinion on that? I think I've heard something about that, and I'm sure it makes sense. Tyrannosaurs would look quite a bit different if they did survive. I mean, the Cenozoic would look different too, because really the main situation where Tyrannosaurs would survive into the Cenozoic would be if they, if the asteroid never smashed into the Gulf of Mexico. What breed is Ahsoka? I'm not sure if it's a breed, but she's a blue calico. I'm not sure if that constitutes as a breed, though. I've heard conflicting things about that. EM25, thank you so much for the donation. Dino Guy, do you think Spinosaurids Spinosaurs waddled? To some extent, I'm sure. I think that their walking mechanics would vary considering the fact that they were larger than, say, something like a duck. But I'm sure to some extent you could expect to see something like that. Yeah. Getting pretty far on these ribs. Doing pretty decent. We can open up bag number 16. And again, for everybody who's now just joining, I did do a few ribs off camera just to get us a little bit further ahead so that we're not constantly hanging out in a you know, in a far back spot. What are my thoughts on Therizinosaurus? Oh, who doesn't like Therizinosaurs? Therizinosaurus specifically is really cool because it's like one of the larger ones that we know about. Plus, it has the longest claws of any animal ever, really. Really, really long claws that, of course, would have been covered in keratin, which means that they would be larger than what the fossils suggest. And that's cool. And it's always, Therizinosaurus is always a fun one too, and that family in general, because they seemingly have adaptations that hint at a very vicious carnivorous lifestyle, but the evidence we have right now suggests that they mainly ate plants, which feels like a contradiction for a lot of folks. Like, a lot of people really are surprised about that when I tell them. Rightfully so, because again, you kind of equate huge claws as something that has to slash and kill things with just kill things. But in reality, Therizinosaurs were likely using them to tear down branches and stuff like that. It's very cool stuff. Dino Guy, and thank you so much for the donation. Would you be interested in making a dinosaur deck for Yu-Gi-Oh, since it has a legitimate monster species and has cards that support it? I'm not sure how I'd go about doing that, but that sounds like a very interesting concept. Yeah, I'm not sure if I've heard that though. What do I think of the 1925 The Lost World? I've never watched it, but it looks like it's free on YouTube, so I should probably check it out at some point. I'll watch it at some point, and then maybe I'll make a video about it. 1925, which means last year was the 100-year anniversary, so ideally I should have made a video last year, but oh well. Hindsight is always 2020. I wasn't doing paleontology stuff full time last year, so unfortunately I couldn't. It probably fell under the radar for me. Noah Morgan, thank you so much, dude. Hey Dino Guy, do you know anyone who sells life-size Megalosaurus skull replicas? I don't, unfortunately. But I am partnered with BioBuilds, and I'm sure that I can ask if they can make one at some point. I think I could commission that. That would be really cool, actually. I might have to talk to them about that. I would love to have a life-size Megalosaurus skull. Yeah, no, I currently don't know of anyone who sells them. Like, personally, I don't know. They might be out there, but... oh, no. Pieces missing. Cat, probably. Let's see if I'm just not... like, let's make sure I'm not overlooking it first. Don't think I am. So, that means it's on the floor somewhere. I found it. I'm glad these pieces have been real easy to find. What is my favorite fossil you have, or a fossil you would like to have? My favorite fossil that I have is an alligator osteoderm. A Pleistocene alligator osteoderm from Florida. It's very cool. It's probably one of my favorite fossils. Are the Giganotosaurus from Chased by Dinosaurs and Giants of Patagonia actually Mapusaurus? Probably. It's the right time, right place. Giganotosaurus did not live alongside Argentinosaurus, for example, but Mapusaurus did. At the time it was being made, I think that it was thought to be Giganotosaurus, but later that was kind of reclassified. Which then makes it outdated. Okay, get that connected. And then on the other side too. There we go. In my Fossils and Archaeology world, I named my last villager Alan. By the way, R.I.P. Alan. Yeah, I miss Alan. But he'll live on in that memory since you named a villager Alan. Very good job. That reminds me, there's actually another paleontologist villager that I found in another village that we haven't really talked, like we haven't gone to that other village in a while. I haven't been able to do too many things on the Fossils and Archaeology world. I really got to try to step that up and get more videos out on that. Hey Dino Guy, do you think that the Naga Titan coexisted with Ichthyovenator? I think it did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. At the very least, the same time. I'm not too sure about the same area. Get that going. Build these. How come we know the sound of Parasaurolophus, but we don't know the sounds of other dinosaurs? What sense does that make? Parasaurolophus was a pretty lucky case because we are able to determine its possible sounds due to the fact that it has a hollow crest that is connected to its nasal cavity. That implies that it was likely sending air throughout its crest that was being brought in by its nasal cavity. Like, in other words, it was kind of like blowing through its nose. That gave us the opportunity, or gave a team of researchers the opportunity to create their own makeshift Parasaurolophus skull, which then they were able to send air through and produce a noise. Now, that's not to say that the noise is a perfect representation of what the animal sounded like in life. Who knows how much soft tissue is on the inside of that crest that would produce a different noise entirely, but it's our best idea. As far as other dinosaurs go, we haven't gotten that lucky. Like, I think that maybe Corythosaurus is another good candidate for that because of its hollow crest, but we can't just blow air through like a T-Rex skull and expect to get its noise, because T-Rex didn't have any outward structures that would potentially produce loud trumpeting noises like Parasaurolophus, and that goes for pretty much every other dinosaur. Obviously, those fellas, we need to actually find a larynx and a syrinx to get any idea of what they sounded like. And so currently all we can really do is go off of what is most likely. Not everybody can be as cool as Parasaurolophus when it comes to producing noises. Hey Dino Guy, what do you think of I wanna be a paleontologist, Baryonyx design art from Jurassic Park 3, and how accurate do you think it is compared to the real-life Baryonyx? I'm not too sure if I saw that, and if I did, it's not fresh in my memory. So that's something I might have to check out later on. Do you think that someday we will have the tech to see how dinosaurs looked and sounded like? I think nowadays we do to some degree. There are a lot of it depends on how preserved an animal is. If an animal's preserved well enough, you can get a good idea of what it looked and sounded like. A very good example of that today is Edmontosaurus. We have found a lot of Edmontosaurus mummies out there that offer a good glimpse of what the fleshy parts looked like. And so we have a very good idea of what that fellow looked like. And there are some dinosaurs that are so well preserved that you can still see the melanosomes. Little pigments that are something that help determine the coloration, so we can see what colors they were. It all depends on how preserved an animal was, and we have to get extremely lucky with that. I heard Mark Winton is writing a book about dinosaur coloration. Yes, he is. I saw that on his Patreon. I am so hyped about that. Not just dinosaur coloration, too. In fact, the dinosaur coloration is it only takes up one chapter of the whole book. It's actually prehistoric creature coloration. The reason why it's like titled dinosaur coloration is because of the publishers. You know, publishers often make paleontologists or these authors like have their names be something that's a little bit more appealing, like these books. And so that's why you oftentimes see like dinosaurs in big bold letters on books that are not entirely about dinosaurs. Like I have one called Dinosaurs, A New Visions of a Lost World. And yeah, there's a lot of dinosaurs in there, but it's also about pterosaurs and some extinct mammals. So it's not just about dinosaurs. And the same goes for many other different types of books. Which do you like better, fighting dinosaurs or the dueling dinosaurs fossil? The fighting dinosaurs. The fighting dinosaurs was incredibly important. It helped settle a debate. So I'm very particular. Like, I really like that one. I think that one's a very, very cool one. It settled a debate that I didn't think was going to be settled for a while. How many Hammond collection figures do I have? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. About 4 or 5, I think. Okay, then I gotta connect. How do I connect that then? So it's going to be that one, like that. Okay. This is going to be the shoulder. Shoulder is connected on that side, and then I need to probably connect the shoulder on the other side. Yeah. How did I know that? Crazy. Kanadi, how we going? How we going? How we doing, dude? Good to see you, man. How many Amber Collection do I have? I think I have 0. I wasn't collecting when Amber Collection was a thing, so I don't think I got any of them. Unless I have an Amber Collection and it's just, you know, I don't know what I didn't know it was Amber Collection. Do I think the Therizinosaurus had a pot belly? To some extent, I think. Herbivores usually do anyway, because a lot of them have larger guts to, you know, help process tough plant material. So typically you'll see large herbivores with basically pot bellies. So I think there's a good chance that Therizinosaurus was no exception. Let's get the second. Whoa! Why'd you do that? That was uncalled for. There we go, and second shoulder is in. Thoughts on Dino Dan and Dino Dana, also Trek's Adventure. I've never watched any of those, unfortunately, but a lot of their designs are very interesting. Very cool, I might say. Especially in Dino Dana. Dino Dana has some pretty solid designs. We're making pretty good time. How long have we been? Well, only a half an hour. Sweet. We're doing pretty good today. Quite happy with that. We've been very on top of it. Do I have any Safari or Eofauna? Eofauna, I have a figure on its way eventually. I don't know when. But Safari, I have quite a few. I actually really quite like Safari. A lot of them are decently accurate and they're affordable. You know, more people can get them. I think they're pretty cool. What dinosaur do we have the most detailed knowledge about? Well, my money's on Psittacosaurus. Psittacosaurus is, one species of Psittacosaurus. It is exceptionally well preserved. All the way down to the counter shading that it had, the type of scaling that it had on different parts of the body. The cloaca is still present. And the little quill-like structure, like the quill-like bristles that it has at the base of its tail. We can also see like the shape of its beak. We can see like the jugal structures and a lot of its skeleton. It is a very well understood dinosaur, one of the most detailed out there. The cloaca is especially a very important little detail because that offers a lot about, you know, the way that they get rid of waste or the way that they reproduce. The cloaca of Psittacosaurus is actually very similar to that of crocodilians, so we can look at crocodilians and how their cloacas function to get a good idea of how maybe other non-avian dinosaurs would function through their cloaca. So Psittacosaurus is definitely one of the best understood dinosaurs. That species. There's like 10 plus species of Psittacosaurus that we know about, but that one, you know, it's, yeah. Why are there so many Psittacosaurus species? I have no idea. I guess we just got lucky with finding the differences in them. Okay, bag 16. Who do you think would win in a fight, a Kodiak bear or Utah raptor? I have no idea. If you make a many interpretations of Margosaurus next, you should include the Disney dinosaur concept art at one as well. I should. You're right. And I need to work on that one. Thanks for reminding me. Again, it's just been so busy with other projects that the many interpretations of just kind of fell under the radar. Again, I keep saying that. I need to stop saying that. Do I own any Megalodon teeth? Yes, I do. It's on one of my bookshelves back there. I think near my T-Rex tooth. The replica. It's a T-Rex tooth replica. The Megalodon tooth is real, though. Okay. Doing good. Just gotta keep the momentum going. That's all we gotta do. Keep the momentum going. If you got a dino tattoo, what dino would you choose? Can't be Spino. Ah, what? I was just talking about that with my wife the other day, and I said I'd get like a Spinosaurus skull. Like right here, if I ever decided to get a tattoo. But it can't be a Spino. It has to be dinosaur, right? Is that what you said? You said dinosaur. Yeah, Dino tattoo. Ooh, then what would I do if not a Spino? Yeah. You know what? A Pachyrhinosaurus would be cool. Or a Denversaurus. A Pachyrhinosaurus or a Denversaurus. One of those two. I wouldn't say no to that. Can't be a Spino. You're just out against me, huh? I see how it is, Kanadi. I see how it is. Why are you doing what you're doing? Whatever, that's good. Oh, okay, it's supposed to be like that. Never mind, I didn't. Ah! I'm breaking ribs. The ribs are fragile. Go figure. What is my favorite Spec Evo animal? Mine's the Mega Squid from The Future is Wild. Mine is also from The Future is Wild, but I'm spacing on its name. They're the highly evolved quail that are kind of like moles digging around. What were they called? I can't remember. I'm sure somebody remembers. Have I seen Douglas Dixon's The New Dinosaurs? I've seen it. I've never read it. Guess who met Bryce Dallas Howard at the Fan Expo? Oh, yeah, that's right. You were telling me about that, dude. How'd that go? Did you ever sign your Indominus? Oh, jeez. Sorry, I dropped something. Well, I hope that piece wasn't too important. Oh, it was. It was important. Come on, none of the other bags had like a spare of that piece specifically. See, the problem is that it blends in with my carpet. Denversaurus from the top would be cool. Yeah, it would. I agree. I got to keep you on your toes, my friend. He was too fuzzy for her markers, so I got a poster instead. Oh, nice, dude. Nice. Well, I hope it went well. I didn't even know that Bryce Dallas Howard was going to be at Fan Expo. So that's really exciting. If A. europaeus ends up being A. fragilis, would it be a European subspecies? For example, A. fragilis europaeus? No. No, it would just be fragilis. We don't do subspecies in paleontology. It's already very difficult to do subspecies in normal biology. It's basically impossible to do it in paleontology. Because it's like in normal biology, normal natural world things, you can very clearly tell when an animal is a subspecies because typically they have different patterns and different colors, like the different subspecies of giraffe. We can't really see that in dinosaurs, you know, the extinct ones. So it would just be Allosaurus fragilis. It would just show us that Allosaurus fragilis had a wider range. It's already difficult to determine species in paleontology. We would further muddy the waters if we started to incorporate subspecies to the whole thing. She laughed her butt off when I told her this is a bootleg Indominus I got at a Baskin Robbins 9 years ago. Nice. Oh, man, I gotta find this piece, though. It's a dark piece, very dark piece, and it blends in with my carpet, so this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna keep trying to talk while I'm doing this, though. I swear, it teleported to a different dimension. Like, this is baloney. That's a problem. Use a flashlight. Yeah. I don't know where my phone is, though. Flashlight is a good idea. I'll be right back. Hmm. You know what? It's not like it's not the most important thing for because it's just another rib. I can get to that later. I'll just put the rest of the pieces to the side so that I don't lose those, and then I'll fix it later. Can I please do Shantungosaurus on my next batch? My next batch, huh? Not sure what you're referring to with that. I like Shantungosaurus, though. Do I like Popeye's chicken sandwich? Nah, I don't really eat much Popeyes or any of that. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on then. So what am I working on here? Oh, the arms. We're working on chest bones and the arms. Very cool. That's gonna be awesome to see. There we go. Do you think we will ever be able to bring prehistoric dinosaurs back to life? No. Probably not, unfortunately. DNA just does not last that long, so I don't think we really have much hope in that department. Of course, science is constantly changing, and maybe we'll find new methods that could potentially bring them back, but the closest we're going to get is modifying the genes of like bird embryos, because obviously, you know, those guys are dinosaurs. If we modify their traits to make them look like a non-avian dinosaur, that's probably about as close as we're going to get. It would be cool to bring it back, though. Yeah, it would. It would be really cool. I would love to see it, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. Are the ribs on that Lego Tyrannosaurus supposed to be that spread out? That looks, they're that wide? Sorry. It looks off, but it might just be my perspective. Well, they look all right, I believe. Yeah, that looks fine. I think it might have just been the perspective. They did a good job at making it so that the T-Rex was like really barrel chested, like many of the specimens are that we have today. There's a possibility that we found DNA from a dinosaur in amber. No, there's not. No, there's been a few attempts at that in the past, but again, DNA just doesn't last that long. Especially when when Jurassic Park first came out, there was this huge craze of people looking at amber and other extinct bugs and things like that to try to see if we can get DNA from them, and that's when we found out that we couldn't. Ahsoka's back. Yeah, she is. She's just hanging out on the back of my chair. Okay. How do they do paleontology in Japan? Like, how are names translated? I know a lot of it is Katakan, or Katan, whatever. But I feel like translating dinosaur names would be troublesome overall. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked into that. Maybe Ahsoka will find the rib. Maybe. Or maybe she'll lose it further. She's good at that. She's really good at doing that. Okay, that was the first. Okay, gotcha. We're building the next one. Did Tyrannosaurus make the same call as Parasaurolophus? Its crest is very similar, I believe. At least do we even have the crest of Tyrannosaurus? We probably do. I haven't looked into Tyrannosaurus too much. But assuming its crest is similar, then yeah, probably. It probably made similar noises. What are my thoughts on Bruhathkayasaurus? I don't have many thoughts on that because that is a tricky dinosaur to talk about because it might not even exist. So I don't talk about it. How long have I had Ahsoka? We are looking at 6 years now. My wife and I, then girlfriend, we got her at the start of the pandemic back in 2020. The many interpretations of Shantungosaurus. Gotcha. That makes way more sense than what I was thinking. And I'm sure we will at some time. It's just Currently, I've had troubles trying to figure out when and how to do the many interpretations of. Those have always been like relatively big videos that have taken up a pretty decent chunk of my time. So I still have to get to the Amargasaurus one. Feel so bad about that one. What is the most complete skeleton out of any? Can't be a mummy. There's a few of them from J-Hole or from like the Yishion formation. But like, you know, animals like Sinosauropteryx, that's decently complete, or Microraptor, Archaeopteryx, Psittacosaurus, the aforementioned Psittacosaurus, and even Sue. I might as well throw Sue in there because I'm very excited to talk about Sue because I get to go and see Sue at the end of the month. Very excited for that. But Sue's like over 90% complete. She's a T-Rex. One of the most complete T-Rex specimens that we've ever found. What do you think about the Mugenics Dreadnoughtus? I'm not familiar with that. This quail from the future is wild is called a spink. That's right. I remember now. Because you told me. Can you enable chat replay on part 3 of the Lego T-Rex build? Chat replay. Oh. I didn't know you could do that. I'm going to have to look into that. Do you know of the Bisecti giant, and what are your thoughts on it? Undescribed dromaeosaur that's supposedly larger than Utahraptor. Yeah, it's tough. Like, I don't look too much into animals that are currently undescribed because there's always a lot of, you know, gray area when it comes to that. Because, like, it's hard to speak on them, for example. But it certainly sounds really interesting. Oh, how did I mess that up? Oh, there we go. I did. Oh, wait, what? Oh, I see. It's probably just in the wrong place, huh? There we go. All fixed. Okay. And yeah, no, the Bisecti giant, it might be a pretty substantial dromaeosaur. Like, from what I've heard, currently, it might be pretty hefty. But it's hard to say. Opinion or thoughts on the Cuban crocodile? I don't have many opinions about those fellas, unfortunately. They're really cool. I'll never hate any modern day animals. Have you looked up the Keptodactylus inspiratus yet? I don't believe I have, no. Opinion on Prehistoric Emergence by Azun Studios. It's very cool. I actually made a I made a video about it, like around Halloween of last year. I really like it. Are troodontids the closer non-avians to birds? I believe the closest non-avians to birds would be the Unilagids, which is a brand new family of raptor-like dinosaurs that you know, it's been proposed. It's I don't think it's officially yet, but if it is, like, if that's an official family, then those guys seem to be the closest to birds. Meaning animals like Ostroraptor, for example. Will you make many interpretations of Centrosaurus? I'm sure I will at some point. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now we're working on the T-Rex hands. Oh, the hands are so short. Why did it have short hands? Dinosaurs must be a dragon, because why would it have those short hands? Ridiculous. Okay. Oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. That's the right one. Do that, and then I need to get that going. Good, good, good. What is the most obscure prehistoric ecosystem? Mine is Hat's Egg Island. Obscure prehistoric ecosystem. Anything from the Triassic. Anything from the Paleozoic, really. Like, those ones are certainly not as represented in media, for example. Oh, it's a bit unfortunate. Like, I don't know how I'd expect them to do this, but I wish that these fingers were different lengths from each other. Because that's exactly how T-Rex is. It's like, you know, its thumb claw, essentially, is like a little bit shorter than the, you know, the bottom claw. Which makes sense, because that's how it is for us. But it doesn't look like that's how it is right here. Oh, Evolution Squared is here? Oh, yeah! Hey, how's it going, Evolution Squared? How you doing? What's your thoughts on the build / model so far? Pretty good. It's pretty good. I quite like it so far. It's taken me forever because I can't talk and speak at the same time. So, but it's pretty dang good. Like, I really like the quality of it so far. It's really cool to see it all come together, especially with all of the, you know, all the toes and everything. Yeah, it's been real fun so far. Thank you for stopping by the way. I really appreciate you hanging out. What are your thoughts on Charles R. Knight, and what is your favorite work by him? I really like the Agathamus piece. I think it's a cool piece. And I like his art. I've said it before, but I really like vintage reconstructions of dinosaurs and other extinct animals, because it's like a good way for us to get an understanding of how our view of them has changed as we find more fossil material. I am drawn to Lego. Heard the clicking all the way in the Netherlands. It's like a siren. Yeah, no, I appreciate you dropping by though. That's like, it's always a real pleasure to have you. Thank you for hanging out again. Yeah, I mean, I knew this piece was going to be big, but I need to get better at multitasking. That's all it is. That's all it truly is. Where the heck is that piece? There it is. Click. You can't talk and speak at the same time? Oh, is that what I said? See, case in point. Case in point. When I'm trying to, like, focus on Legos, I say the wrong things. Oops. Yeah, I can't talk and speak at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. It's a curse. It's the one thing that holds me back in life, really. All right, we got to get the rest of these fingers down. Why did T-Rex lose a finger, but Carno still has like 4? It depends on the lineage. T-Rex technically didn't lose a finger. Its third finger is just incredibly reduced. At the museum that I volunteer at, Morrison Museum, there was a T-Rex hand on display, or an arm, and you can still see the tiny little third finger that's just basically vestigial. So it technically didn't lose it. It's just extremely reduced. Same, to be honest. Yeah, you know. Bet you most people are in agreement with me. Opinion on Anzu, the giant oviraptorosaur from the Hell Creek Formation. I really like Anzu. I actually recently got the Safari LTD figure of Anzu. I think it looks so cool. You know, like this. Click. Ooh, click. There we go. Personally, I can't yell and scream at the same time. Oh, yeah, man. I hear you. Favorite dinosaur game and movie and documentary. Favorite dinosaur game is Prehistoric Kingdom. I love that game with all of my heart. It's always such a pleasure to play it. My favorite dinosaur movie is Jurassic Park. Near perfect film, if you ask me. It's beautiful. I loved it when I was younger, and I still love it. Favorite documentary is Prehistoric Planet. Because it's beautiful, you know. I'm off to watch SGF in the hopes of anything Jurassic Park Survival. Have fun. I will. And again, thank you for dropping by. And yeah, hopefully we get something from that. I remember when that game was first announced. It was years ago by this point. I was so hyped. So hyped. Now look at us. Begging for information. Will I be playing Jurassic Park Survival? Yeah, I'll definitely play it when it comes out. I mean, I'm excited for that. What are you most excited for in Surviving Earth? I am very excited to see the Spinosaurus episode because I am biased. Spinosaurus is my favorite dinosaur. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm also really looking forward to see what they do with the Dimetrodon episode and the Cenozoic portions. I think that's going to be really fun too. I actually recently had an interview with Tim Haynes, so that's going to be uploading tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled for that. And he said some really cool things about the documentary that got me even more hyped for it. Sent it on Discord. Also, it vanished. Ooh, what vanished? Would you send on Discord? I already forgot because I have the memory of a goldfish. Oh, what kind of wasp is that? Kanati sent me a picture of a wasp. It's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. Noah Morgan, thank you so much for the donation. I always appreciate that. Our peccary, I don't know how to pronounce them properly. You can make fun of me all you want. True pigs are just related. Last I heard, they are not true pigs. They are just related to pigs. Peccaries are not related to pigs. Oh, I take that back. They are not related to pigs. They're just pig-like, probably. Convergent evolution and all that good stuff. I gotta keep my head on a swivel now. It's like one of those things where it's like you saw a spider in your bedroom like an hour ago, and now you can't like go to sleep or anything. You're just standing there with like a baseball bat, just ready to defend yourself, defend your honor. That's what you gotta do, man. That's what you gotta do. That's life. Oh man, why is this so stupid right now? What do I think about Dilophosaurus? Well, let me just tell you, Flexed 33. It's one of my favorite dinosaurs. I really like Dilophosaurus, and I want to make a video talking about the tragedy of Dilophosaurus because it's probably one of the most like misrepresented dinosaurs in media, all because of Jurassic Park. You know, the way that they reconstructed it in that movie. Oh, thank you so much for the donation again. What's your opinion on Archelon? It's my personal favorite of the prehistoric turtles, with Myelonia being a close second. I love Archelon too. Archelon is just such like a big turtle, the size of a car, which is like a small car, of course, but a car nonetheless. And it's so interesting, and the fact that it might like it's possible that it looked a little bit more like a leatherback turtle, and the fact that its carapace might have had a similar shape. It's cool. It's really, really cool. The fact that an animal like that existed, it always brings me so much joy. But I could probably say that with a lot of different animals, if I'm being honest. Dinosaur is the most misrepresented Nanotyrannus. Yeah, that's true, too. There's a lot of times where Nanotyrannus technically shows up in a documentary, but it's just like a juvenile that's based off of the Jane specimen. So yeah, you definitely have a point with that one. Yeah, that's definitely true. When I did the many interpretations of Nanotyrannus, I realized that there was just a lot of reconstructions out there that are technically Nanotyrannus because they're based off of Nanotyrannus specimens, but they're called juvenile T-Rex in the documentary. That happened quite a bit. But at least whenever Nanotyrannus shows up, it looks like a Nanotyrannus. The Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus, it looks like Dilophosaurus, of course. You know, it's got the crests and everything. But it's missing its whole identity, you know? And the same goes for any movie or show or game that portrays Dilophosaurus and bases it off of the Jurassic Park version. It's just, it loses all of its identity. Would I rather have a pet Velociraptor or Microraptor? I feel like I'd have a better time with a Microraptor. I think a Velociraptor would tear me to shreds. That's not to say a Microraptor wouldn't. I'm sure it would. Still has claws and teeth, but I feel like I'd have an easier time with it. Did Pinacosaurus chirp? Maybe. We don't have enough information. All we know is that a larynx was found, and the larynx is structurally similar to a bird's larynx. Only problem is that birds don't really use their larynx completely to produce noises. They use a structure called a syrinx, and we still haven't found a syrinx yet. So we don't know if they made bird-like noises. It's possible, we just don't know. What are the periods like Campaign and Maastrichtian called? How many do you know? I know a decent amount, but like the Maastrichtian and the Campanian, I think those are just called stages, are they not? I don't remember if I've ever committed that to memory. I've also distracted myself. Shoot. I had a good flow going. My bad. Opinion on the claims that humans lived with dinosaurs? They're ridiculous. Based off of nothing. Okay. Don't break any ribs now. Click. Click. And then arms. I'm so glad the arms are facing the correct way, though. Be really cool if we had a wishbone that went like, you know, right here. That would be so cool to see. A lot of these ribs need to be rearranged to like have more consistent, but I got a Stegosaurus. I don't know why I grabbed it randomly, but I got one. I'm gonna put it right here. What, you gonna name the T-Rex? I'll probably let you guys decide that when we're done. I'm not sure yet. Okay. Got that done. Now what we're working on. We might be working on part of the hip again. That's kind of what it looks like the ischium up here. What's the difference between Microraptor and Archaeopteryx? Location is a big one. Another one is the fact that Archaeopteryx is more so like a bird. Like, I think it's actually genuinely a bird, whereas Microraptor is a dromaeosaurid. So it's a non-avian dinosaur, a non-bird dinosaur. Microraptor was also completely iridescent, like a bluish-black, greenish coloration, whereas at the very least, part of Archaeopteryx's wing was a sort of matte black coloration. So at the very, like, that part is probably similar, but we don't know what the rest of it's like. Skeletally speaking, they're very different too. I don't think that Archaeopteryx has a sickle claw, for example. Do you think Giganotosaurus deserves a spotlight in modern dino docs? Sure. Yeah, we don't see too many Carcharodontosaurids in general. Like, there are some here and there, but we don't see a lot. Okay, we're looking good, guys. We are looking good. Oh, I see how it's doing it, okay. Have you seen the upcoming accurate Spinosaurus statue / model from W Dragon? No, I don't think I have. That sounds like news to me. If you could make... Oh, excuse me. If you could remake Walking with Dinosaurs 1999, what would you change to make it more accurate? I'd love more Cruel Sea. I'd move Cruel Sea from England to Colombia to the huge Liopleurodon can be kept, but the Sechiosaurus. I know I said that incorrectly, but let's see here. What would I change to make it accurate? For one, I wouldn't have an area that's dedicated to Europe and then have Utahraptor there. Like, I've read the evidence book. I know why they put Utahraptor there, but there's nothing substantial that states that Utahraptor would be present in Europe at that time. So I would either just completely dedicate it to being in either Europe or North America, and judging by which decision I make, that would determine what fauna you would see there. It wouldn't be like a mixture of those two continents. Is Asia Tyrannus and Raptor X still valid? Right now it seems unlikely, judging off of that recent paper that kind of seem to state that they are growth stages of Tarbosaurus. Of course, we'll see where that goes in the future. Hardly anything is set in stone with paleontology, but right now it doesn't seem like it. What did I do wrong this time? Is the question. Right, I did that. Something's not adding up right here. 1, 2, 3, right. And that goes up there. I guess, okay. Okay, we got it. Have you ever seen the Czech film by Karel Zeman, Journey to the Beginning of Time? Or have you seen any Zdeněk Burian's paintings? I have seen Zdeněk Burian's paintings. I know I probably butchered that and I apologize. But I have not seen the Journey of Beginning to Time, unfortunately. Okay, I think I missed something. I missed a step. Yeah, I did. Maposaurus have absolutely zero appearance in new documentaries. In new ones, yeah. Of course, it was in Planet Dinosaur. It would be awesome if Giganotosaurus returns in a new documentary. Yeah. That would be awesome. Hopefully, it would have a good design if it did. Huh? What? What? Wait a minute. When did that happen? That was weird. Alrighty. Do that. Sorry if I'm going silent. It's just I gotta like fix things, you know. That's how you know that we're kind of getting late in the stream. Is when I start making mistakes like that. Fix that. Fix this. Fix everything. What is my favorite Tyrannosaurus depiction? Mine is Prehistoric Planet, Jurassic Park, and Prehistoric Kingdom. Prehistoric Planet and Prehistoric Kingdom are definitely up there for me. I also really like the one from the newest Walking with Dinosaurs. Hot take, I'm sure, but I don't know, I like it. Then, how long have we been live? For an hour. Wow. Okay. We're making pretty decent time. We're already almost through our second bag. We might even be able to get a third one done. Or maybe I'll just call it quits early and then we'll just chat for the rest of stream. Who knows? What's my favorite Tyrannosaurid? Tyrannosaurus itself. Such a cool and amazing animal. Okay, and then that goes on this side over here. Ah, ribs. Ribs are falling. Gotta be careful. There we go. It's pretty cool. I'll pick up that rib later. Don't you worry. And I assume we got to do the other side. And this time I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. Thoughts on some people saying that T-Rex evolved into a chicken. It is not true. It is not true. The T-Rex did not evolve into anything. T-Rex's lineage just stopped at the end of the Cretaceous period. Once that asteroid hit, there was no lineage for T-Rex. It just died off right there. And that goes for every single non-bird dinosaur that existed. Where do Monolophosaurus and Proceratosaurus sit taxonomically? Good question. I think that it's kind of tricky to determine. Let me actually... I don't remember exactly where they sit, but I just know that it is a little bit tricky. Hence why you probably have... I'm going to have to look into that real quick. Right now, dang it, Kanadi. You made me curious. Now I need to know. So I'm gonna look it up real quick. We'll look at Proceratosaurus first. Well, Proceratosaurus is a... that is what you said, right? Because isn't Proceratosaurus a Tyrannosauroid, now that I think about it? I'm pretty sure it is. I'm gonna check anyway. No, it is. No, I know it is. Yeah, no, it is. So no, I'm not gonna look at Proceratosaurus. Proceratosaurus is a Tyrannosauroid, so of course it's like on the Coelurosaurian side of the theropod family tree. Monolophosaurus... I can't remember where Monolophosaurus sits. Let me check real quick. I think Monolophosaurus is the tricky one. Proceratosaurus is not. Let me check Monolophosaurus. Yeah, it doesn't have a family that we know of for Monolophosaurus, but it is in Tetanurae, which that's not surprising. Most theropods are in that group, that clade, including like birds and Coelurosaurians and whatnot. Yeah, but it doesn't look like we really have a family to assign Monolophosaurus to. Looks like in 2019, no, we'll look at the most recent cladogram. In 2024, it is recovered as a basal member of Allosauridia. That's interesting. In 2023, oh, I remember this. Examination of Irritator chalendri found Monolophosaurus to be a sister taxon to Spinosauridae. I remember when that happened. It's all coming back to me now. As part of a larger monophyletic Carnosauria. Similarly, the describers of Alpcapra included Monolophosaurus within Spinosauridae based on their phylogenetic analysis in 2024. But that did not stand, and it looks like the most recent cladogram places them as a basal member of Allosauroidea, which is something that I do not remember. So yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, okay, we're doing good. Almost done with this box, and I'll probably do more like in between now and the next stream so that, again, we're not spending as much time building. What family did Megaraptors belong to? Megaraptors are a part of Megaraptoridae. They are also ones with like a tricky taxonomical placement. I think that currently they are Coelurosaurs, which means that they're within the same clade as like Tyrannosaurs, Ornithomimosaurs, Oviraptorosaurs, Therizinosaurs. But it's tough to say. I think Joaquin Raptor might help us with that, though. Are you close to being done with it? Are you going to name your creation? I'm not too sure what I'm going to name it. I think I'm kind of close. Like, we are on, like, finishing up bag 16 out of 25. So we're getting there. Still more work to be done, but we are getting there. And I figured that I might let everybody who watches the streams name it, because I am terrible at naming things. So we'll certainly see when that happens. How do scientists figure out how did scientists figure out that Saurophaganax was a sauropod instead of an allosaurid? So it seems that the vertebrae are sauropod vertebrae. Sauropod vertebrae are distinct from theropod vertebrae in some key ways, and it seems like they had those synapomorphies that helped determine that. Hence the classification of a sauropod instead of an allosaurid. And then, of course, there was Allosaurus material there, which then gave the rise of the name of Allosaurus anax. Very cool stuff. Did you know that 41% of Americans believe dinosaurs and humans lived together, which is 349 million people? That is a lot of people, but nobody asked me to fill out a survey. So how many, who conducted that type of survey? Surveys like that are tricky because it's like, yeah, sure, you can say that 41% of Americans believe in a certain thing. However, I guarantee that not all Americans took a survey to determine that, because I never did. Again, I would put, no, humans did not live with dinosaurs. So it's always, surveys like that are always tricky to get behind, because 40% of what? It can't be the whole country, because again, not all of us took a survey. I know it's probably a decent percentage of people who believe that. I mean, my comments say that all the time, but still. What dinosaur you will put in battle in Prehistoric Kingdom once the update is out? We'll recreate a few fossils that we can recreate, like the fighting dinosaurs, that being the Velociraptor and the Protoceratops, potentially the dueling dinosaurs, which is the Nanotyrannus and the Triceratops, and anything else we can, maybe T-Rex and Triceratops, the stuff that actually did happen. Man, is it just me, or do like Legos hurt your guys' backs? Like if you're ever like building Legos and you're like hunched over looking at these instructions, does it hurt your back? It always hurts my back. Maybe I'm just old. I mean, I'm not that old, but still. I'm only 26. Opinion on Fukuyiraptor. That is a Japanese Megaraptorid. It's very cool. It was once thought to be a dromaeosaur, but it was not. All right, we're almost done with bag 16. After bag 16, we'll call it good with the Legos. Oh, I messed that up. Messing things up as per usual. How many more bags are there? About 9 or 8 or something. Ugh. Do you plan on posting more on the Dino Guy gaming channel? Yeah, I need to. I have plenty of non-dinosaur games footage that just needs to be edited and posted, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But I'll certainly be doing that at some point. Apologies for everybody who follows that channel. I'm definitely not intending to leave you high and dry. All right. Now that was the rest of the hips right there. We're getting more of a complete T-Rex, but I'm going to call it good right there. We'll hang out for a little bit longer before I end the stream. Oh no, that's not correct. Never mind, I forgot. Oh, I thought a piece fell. Yeah, I probably did. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. And I think we're done with bags. Yeah, we're done with bag 2. So there we go. Bag 2 is done. We are officially on to bag 3 with that. But yeah, we're getting there. This is the T-Rex. We got arms, we got shoulders, we got chest, we got ribs. It's looking a lot bulkier now, which is really, really cool. And the hips seem to be completed too. Release the Berglund Gnomes footage. I need to. Yes, there's so much more footage of that needs to be released. Dino Guy, if Manny from Ice Age was a dinosaur, what dinosaur would he be? I'd say he'd be a T-Rex. I'd go the herbivorous route and I'd make him a Triceratops, honestly. I think that's kind of fitting. Do you prefer the Jurassic World Evolution games or Prehistoric Kingdom? Prehistoric Kingdom. I really like that game. Could you cover Project Tpui? It is a book about a lost world that features dinosaurs that have a mixture between retro and accurate designs. Oh, that sounds like fun. I'll have to try to check that out. How did scientists figure out that Tyrannosaurus Rex had lips? So for one, lips are kind of like the standard for tetrapods. For another one, there was like a study done on Daspletosaurus teeth, which is a close relative of T-Rex. Cut the teeth into thin slices, and they found that the wear and tear on the teeth, on the outer layers of the teeth, are more consistent with that of an animal that was like had their teeth covered instead of being exposed. Like in other words, it wasn't like crocodilian teeth, where crocodilians have their teeth out all the time. So it's likely that theropod dinosaurs had their teeth covered because of reasons like that. Any thoughts on the End of Oak Street movie so far? I'm interested. I'm interested, you know. Some of the designs are interesting, of course, but I'm excited for the movie. I'm excited to check it out. Can't wait for the next D&D session. They are really fun. Yeah, there are a lot of laughs. Opinion on Australovenator. It's a very cool Australian Megaraptorid that actually has pretty complete arms, so it offers a lot of insight about that family. What is your favorite prehistoric invertebrate? Mine are trilobite and ammonite. Good choices. I might have to... I've been really warming up to trilobites. I don't know why it is. Maybe it's the fact that I found out that there's just so many species of them. Like, I knew that there was a lot, but we have like 24,000 species of trilobites known. It's insane. What is my opinion on the Hammond Collection toys? I like them. I think they're fun. I like them. I think they're cool. My DM and her wife said that we're getting another party back to play D&D. I haven't played them. Ooh, nice, dude. Sounds like fun. Your mosasaur drawing was great. You should do more pen and paper drawings. I might have to, actually, because I still can't find my stylus for my iPad. That used to be what I did. And then once I got the iPad, I continually did that. But yeah, no, it was fun. My favorite invertebrate would have to be Anomalocaris. Good choice. Very good choice. Also, if Sid the Sloth from Ice Age was a dinosaur, what dinosaur would he be? I'd say he'd be a Struthiomimus. Good choice. I like the idea of having him be a Struthiomimus, especially compared to maybe whatever Manny would be. So I'll agree with you on that one. Could it be possible for a Stegosaurid to have made it to the Hell Creek 66 million years ago? From what we could tell, probably not. That's very later on from where the last Stegosaurid fossils are found, so it's unlikely. I'm sure it's not impossible. It's hard to say if anything is really impossible, but that's pretty close. Have I watched Star Wars, Dino Guy? Oh yeah, I watch Star Wars all the time. We saw The Mandalorian and Grogu too. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Sid would be a basal therizinosaur. That does fit. Sid could be a Bapiosaurus. Yeah, Sid could be a Bapiosaurus. Yeah, that's what Sid will be. Where do I watch Walking with Dinosaurs 2025? You can watch it on PBS. And I think you can also watch it on Apple TV, but don't quote me on that. No, maybe. Yeah, I think you can. Don't quote me, but I think you can. Would Diego be a raptor then? Sure. Could be like a Deinonychus or something. Oh, nine. Okay. We are almost out of time. And Diego would be a Utah raptor. We're almost out of time, so I'm going to answer a few more questions, and then we're going to have to call it a quits after that, unfortunately. Do we know why Carcharodontosaurids didn't get to the end of the Cretaceous? There's probably a lot of hypotheses out there, but I've never looked into any of them, unfortunately. Maybe they were outcompeted. Who knows? Wanted to thank you, Dino, for introducing me to Dinosaurs recently. It's quickly become one of my favorite nodosaurids along with Borealipelta. You are welcome. It is such an amazing dinosaur, isn't it? I freaking love it. I actually made a whole video about it that will be posted sometime next week, I think. Because I'm really loving Dinosaurs, and it needs way more attention. So I'm glad you like it. What is the saddest dinosaur fossils in your opinion? Any hatchling or juvenile fossils. It's like they're really exciting fossils because they oftentimes paint a good picture of what these animals were like, but they are also just like, then, you know, it hits you that, oh, this is unfortunately a youngling that passed on. Who sent that gift? Fionn Bart. Thank you so much for sending the Happy Pride, and Happy Pride, everybody. Thank you so much. Obi-Wan, he was killing hatchlings. Exactly. There was that one, like, it's not a dinosaur, but there was that one baby pterosaur that was found, I think, last year. That was also pretty sad because of that. Okay, I'm gonna answer a couple more. I don't know why things are freezing on me, but they are. That's weird. What do you think about June being both Dinosaur Day and Pride Month? Very cool coincidence. Yeah, you know, very cool stuff. It's also Jurassic June, so it's like a combination of a lot of different things. Lots of things going on, that is for sure. I always forget when Dinosaur Day is, though. That's like, I always forget that Dinosaur Day is like, you know, it happens, and then I see people posting about it. I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't have a video prepared. Darn. So I just posted pictures on Instagram instead. What did Gorgonopsids evolve into? Gorgonopsids went extinct. They didn't evolve into anything, but their lineage gave the rise of mammals, basically. So just mammals in general share a decently close relation to Gorgonopsids. Every day is Dinosaur Day. Yeah, exactly. That's why I forget, because it kind of is for me, though. Like, every day of my life has something to do with dinosaurs, because, you know, that's just look at me. I'm surrounded. We'll answer one more. It's frozen. Why is it frozen? Do you know Clint's Reptiles? Absolutely. I'm mutuals with Paleoanalysis, who's actually friends with Clint, and at some point, I would like to meet Clint at some point. I really like Clint's Reptiles. He's really helped me gain a better understanding of how phylogenetics work. Like back years ago when I was getting into the wacky world of phylogenetics and really starting to take it a little bit more seriously, he helped like make it a lot more simple. So I have a lot of my understanding to owe to him. What is my favorite dinosaur other than Spinosaurus, and when did you start liking dinosaurs? I started liking dinosaurs when I was very young, very, very young, about 5 or 4 or so. I don't remember when exactly, but I was very young. And Denversaurus is probably currently like my new favorite dinosaur other than Spinosaurus. I seriously don't know why I'm developing an obsession with it, but it's so cool. It's such a cool dinosaur. Feels like my voice is starting to give out, so we're going to go ahead and end the stream right here. Thank you all so much for dropping by and hanging out. Again, it's just always such a real pleasure to speak with you all. Yeah. I hope to get this more completed before our next stream so that you're not looking at another, like, I mean, it's looking better. It's looking more like a T-Rex at the very least. So we're almost done. We're almost done with it. Once again, thank you everybody for dropping by, and all of you have an awesome day. All right? Make sure you do.